guys. Thanks for joining us today on Take a Walk with Us, the Intro to Levity. This is our PT section of the webinar. And today I have Denise with me. She is a PT with AMPT, or AMPT, as we like to call it. Denise has been a pediatric physical therapist for 18 years. She's seen a very large variety of patients, diagnoses, presentations, surgeries, etc. She is the owner of AMPT, Adaptive Movement Pediatric Therapy. The reason that I've asked Denise to come on today is we have become very fast friends. Her passion matches my passion. Her ability to be able to educate and make it all make sense when she discusses things with other people, whether it's a physical therapist, whether it's a family, anybody in between, it all just kind of clicks and makes sense. And so I wanted to bring her aboard and have her do a Levity education webinar from her perspective in clinic. So Denise, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I will turn it over to you and I will let you kind of rule the Levity world for a little bit and just have fun. Thanks.
Yeah. So this is the Levity. The picture that you see on the screen right now is the Levity product. And I'm going to go through it feature by feature and step by step to hopefully give you a better idea of what we're working with here. The first one that I think is the most important, especially for families who will be using this, whether it's being used at home or in the school or in a clinic, is that the entire thing only weighs 30 pounds. Only 30 pounds. Most wheelchairs are heavier than that. And Lord knows any parent that's loading this up is going to want it to be fairly lightweight so that it's easy to get in and out of a car or anything like that. We have the kind of signature feature of this device is an adjustable weight support. So that little white pack that you see the arrow pointing to, that is an interchangeable weight support pack. It is a spring-loaded system, and it allows you to adjust how much support your child is being provided. We have, of course, the speed control back wheels. You can turn them down so that they move a little bit slower, or turn it up so that they can move a little faster, especially if they're on carpet. And it's just a friction kind of a speed control, much like the other devices that are already on the market. This dynamic track is our next big feature. This allows our clients, our child, whoever's using this device, to be fully functional and dynamic in their movements. They can squat down, they can sit down in a chair, they can work on doing their exercises in this device. This allows them to move up and down. You can also lock the track down, which then provides full support for standing. The dynamic neck, I have a video of this that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. This, when you unlock those two knobs, it allows for some lateral flexion, side bending, and it also allows for some rotation. Again, allowing the child that's in the device to have full functional movement. Customizable support. This is not a surprise. All of our devices out there have a bunch of different supports that you can add. This one, we have a saddle, we have a chest strap, we have a chest harness, we have everything in between, and you really can customize how much support is being provided and where. Locking swivel front wheels, that one's kind of self-explanatory. We can turn, or we can keep them locked straight if they are not ready to steer on their own yet. So these are all the pieces that go into our device. And I think you'll see in just a few minutes as we continue through this that it's really quite impressive. So this slide is a little video of the adjustable support and how much support we can provide from 8 kilograms all the way up to 22 kilograms. We can really provide a lot of different supports for a lot of different children and their ranges of ability and also size. This is the dynamic neck, and I'm going to just let this play, and you can see the movement that's provided in the neck. So we can go rotations, and then we can do some lateral flexion. Again, allowing our client, to really have full range of movement. This is the track. This is my cutie patootie little girl. She was voluntold for this video just to show off all the different things that can be done. So, working on picking something up from the floor or doing exercises, going up and down stairs, all of those things. This track really allows you to have full movement. So I am one of the first physical therapists that have adopted using this device in my clinic. I have one full time, and I've used it on a ton of different kids. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the use of the Levity during therapy. So big one for me is it acts as an extra set of hands. So I am all by myself in my clinic, and many therapists are even in their clinics by themselves. You might be able to ask somebody, hey, I need help lifting, I need help transferring. But when it comes to actual therapy, you're by yourself. This allows you to almost have like an extra set of hands. So when you're working on, I don't know, let's just say picking up a toy from the floor, you can have the Levity provide the support, whereas you can use your hands to then help the client maintain alignment, help them maintain their feet in the right locations and stuff like that. You can use it for training of ADLs. So this is where you can start to see a lot of crossover with PT/OT and speech. OTs oftentimes are working on things like washing hands, putting on shirts, tying your shoes. And this is where you can even co-treat if you wanted to. Have the extra set of hands from the Levity, and then you as the therapist, whether you're PT, OT, or speech, can focus on other things. Increase client confidence. Now, this is a huge one, right? Because how many of our kids are scared to try new things? They're nervous. And in your brain, this kid can do this. I know they can do it. We just have to find that little trick, that little motivation or whatever they need. This has been huge for so many of my clients already because they know that they're being supported, but then I can also provide extra pieces and parts while I'm doing therapy. So having the adjustable support is where we get some of this extra confidence. We have a pelvic harness. We have a chest strap. We have the chest harness. We have a bunch of different pieces that we can add. And I have kids that use all of them because maybe they're an extension or maybe they don't need all of it. They just need the saddle. This just gives them that extra little boost to allow them to focus on their actual movements rather than supporting themselves. We're creating a generalizable learning environment, meaning that what happens in the clinic doesn't always happen at home because they learn something in the clinic or they learn something at school. And this goes for all kids, quite honestly. They learn something in the clinic or they learn something at school. And the only way that they're able to then repeat that is in that same environment. So by creating an environment that can be generalized to other places, making the clinic more generalizable to home or to the grocery store or to the classroom, we've now allowed them to take this support and learn in all of their different environments. If you think about how many different places a child goes in a day, they're at home. Most likely they're at school. Sometimes they're on the bus between home and school. Then they go out on the playground. They go to the park. Maybe they go to daycare. And then if mom and dad have any extra errands to run at the end of the day, they've been 7 places in a relatively short amount of time. For us as adults, we don't think about that. But when you're working with kiddos, all of those parts and pieces need to come into play. The adjustable support allows for growth. So not only does this allow for me to use this device with many different children, that weigh different, they're different heights, they have different conditions, it also allows for one child to grow with the device. Because we have the different straps and the different weight packs, we can now make that device stick with a child for longer than 6 months, longer than a year, maybe even longer than 2 years, depending on how quickly they grow. Use in the clinic and in the home. Again, I'm going to keep harping on this. It's easily and quickly adjustable for a variety of children. So I go from one kiddo who might be very, very petite in nature to another kiddo who might also be petite in weight, but is not petite in height. I have several kiddos who are quite tall for their age and weigh almost nothing. But we can quickly adjust the straps and the weight packs in under 2 minutes for each individual child. Again, quickly and easily adjustable as your child grows. As they get stronger, this is not necessarily just physical growth. As they develop, as they get stronger, as they get more able to do things, you can also easily and quickly adjust the support provided so that maybe it's a bigger challenge for them. Maybe they need to get a little bit stronger in a certain area. So there's lots and lots of things that we can do with this. Easily and quickly adjustable as your child improves in strength. As they get more functionally independent, we want to continue to challenge them. We don't want them to just plateau. Okay, great, yay, you can wash your hands. Okay, well, what comes next? Do they wash their hands? Then they dry their hands. Then maybe they need to walk somewhere else. Or maybe they need to learn to put on a shirt. So as they get stronger and they improve in their strength and their ability, you can adjust the amount of support provided. Maybe you have one skill that hasn't progressed as quickly as another skill. You can add more support in the middle of the session. Can be used during all of the therapies. So one of the things that I have to talk about a lot with families especially is that you need core support before you can do anything with your extremities, and that includes speaking. So if you can provide that support with a device, well, now you just take that device with you to your different therapies, and you can make significant progress in all of your therapies. PT, OT, speech, maybe even vision that I'm not thinking about. You can use it at home just as easily with minimal training. So this device comes fully set up. Literally, you pull it out of the box, you unfold it, done. How many devices are out there on the market that you have to physically put together when it arrives? You have to have a specialized AT person to come in and put it together for you. This shows up already done. So mom, dad, grandma, auntie, uncle can pull it out of the box, unfold it, and you're ready to go. So I have seen an increase in confidence, which I already mentioned a little bit, but also in their general movement patterns. And I do have some videos and pictures that I'm going to show you in just a minute. But I started tracking what my kiddos were able to do before and without the Levity, and then what they were able to do after, with and without the Levity. And I saw improving strength across the board, no matter diagnosis, no matter what they're doing. These kiddos are starting to demonstrate improved strength. Some of that may be improved confidence first and then improved strength later. But all of the kiddos that I've put in this device have, quite honestly, loved it. Loved it. And also, I've seen a lot of kiddos that are more eager to explore their environment and explore even just the clinic space because, again, they're getting stronger and they have that support. They know that they are safe. All righty, so here's some pictures. So this is my little friend, Noah. He is 4 years old in this picture, and this is not that long ago. He has since had a birthday, and he's one of my favorites. Which we don't talk about that. He's in a TheraSuit, which is providing him with a lot of core support. But in order for him to be able to stand, I had to give him some immobilizers to support his legs so that we could focus just on that upright posture. Now, I put him in the Levity, and if you wait, you can watch, he's gonna bend down, He's learning his legs, and then he's going to push right back up into standing all on his own because of that weight support in the back. He's been provided some support that's allowing him to try these things. I'm going to play that one more time for you. And yes, he's yelling at me right now in that video.
So Denise, in this slide, I kind of want to go over what you're doing before in this picture,
okay,
as opposed to what you're doing after the levity. So I can visually see it, right? Like I can see that you're holding him, and he has zero movement in his legs because they're in solid braces, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you can also see, where are you? Like you're behind him, right?
Yeah.
So can you kind of explain a little bit more about this feature and how this really helps you be able to provide him that one-on-one, more face-to-face kind of with the device?
Absolutely. So yes, when I'm working with my kiddos, the vast majority of the time I am behind them for a variety of reasons. In this situation, I am actually staring right at where his shoulder blades are. I keep my focus right at eye level, my eye level, which is about his shoulder blades. And this allows me to see and feel if he's going to go right, left, forward, backward, before he's actually going right, left, or forward, backward. So there's a little trick for you therapists if you don't know that one. But this is hard for me to motivate him, right? Like mom's there and mom's, cheering and hooting and hollering and maybe we have a TV on. I honestly don't remember in this picture, but getting a kiddo to be motivated when you're behind them, what do they all want to do? They want to go like this. They want to look to see where you are, right? So being able to then be right next to him, he can see me, he can see mom. The support is still behind him, but now he has that motivation to do some of the things that we're asking him to do because he can see all of us. He can hear us talking. Well, he could hear us talking when I was behind him too, but he can actually interact with us. So many of our kiddos thrive on being able to communicate. Communication is one of the hardest things to achieve in any diagnosis, right? Because it's not always speech related. It's because some of them, if they're not verbal, they want to look at you. They want to see you. They communicate with their face. Now, my face doesn't have an inside voice, but the same with our kids, right? They don't have an inside voice. They want to tell you all the things. So being able to be next to him, being able to be beside him, being able to be in front of him, have mom right there. And the other beautiful thing about the Levity, because we can be hands-free, it's an extra set of hands, is now we can, he can give mom a hug, which is huge. He can give me a hug. If the dogs are at the clinic with me, he can pet the dogs, but he's still supported and he can do it on his terms or her terms, depending on the child.
Yes. Love that.
Okay. So the big question that I get all the time from therapists and from families is, how much does this thing cost? Is it covered by insurance? Well, it's not covered by insurance yet. But when you look at the other devices on the market, it is really quite similar in price. So why is the Levity worth it? The big device on the market right now that most insurances are paying for, at least in the state that I'm in Arizona, is the Rift Pacer. It's a big company. It's a big device. And there are lots of parts and pieces that can go onto that device. So when you look at the Rift Pacer, the base, just the frame, really not terribly expensive. However, when you include all of the other parts and pieces that a child may need to have the support that they have, you're going to look on average about $6,500 to $7,500 on average for a Rift Pacer. At least that's been my experience. That may be different in other states. That may be different with different insurances. But my experience is that they run in that range. And this is, I feel, this device is a better device than the Rift Pacer, only because And again, this is not going to be specific to a child or anything else. I am looking at a general picture only because this is dynamic. And that's huge when it comes to working with kiddos that are developing through their gross motor milestones or even fine motor milestones.
So how many other devices are out there that can actually grow with the child that you have in clinic? So when you order the clinic device, it comes with all of the harnesses and chest supports and weight canisters. So it can honestly grow with your child, or in clinic, like you said, you can use it for a vast majority of kids that you see. Do they all come like this, or do you have to purchase those additions for other sizes?
All devices have some adjustability. And depending on the device, some devices definitely have more than others when it comes to physical growth. So when it comes to physical growth, a child getting bigger, a child getting taller, most devices have some adjustability. However, this is the only device on the market that has, or at least that I know of, this is the only device on the market that has that adjustable weight canister that I can move between a kiddo who weighs, 30 pounds, all the way up to a kiddo that weighs close to 100 pounds. This is the only device that allows for that. Okay. The only one. When it comes to growth with other devices, kids grow. That's what they do. And these devices are not lasting more than a year on average. I see kiddos, maybe 2 years. I see kiddos outgrowing devices all the time. And sometimes they outgrow it before they even get it because of other, situations happening. So this is the only device on the market that has such a wide range of support. And that is exactly why I purchased it for my clinic. Thanks for that segue. because I am able to use it with so many kids and I can use it in so many different tasks. This is why I have it. I love using this device. And I have a lot of different certifications and other skills and other modalities that I use. So I am not saying that this is the only device that I use, but I do use it very frequently. In fact, there is not usually a day that goes by that I don't use this device.
Nice.
And that's the end of the show.